Okay, here we are at the building for the Shuttle Atlantis with a full-scale mock-up of the external tank and solid rocket boosters, and the real Atlantis inside, and a mock-up of the Hubble Space Telescope. So let's go in. And here it is in all its glory. Really beautiful how they display this thing. The other two shuttles are not displayed like this, like they're in orbit. This is by far the best of how all three of the shuttles are put on display. It's just awesome. They towed this shuttle over from the Space Center at the end of the program and wrapped it in plastic and built this entire building around it. There's a lot of pictures on the internet showing that. It's pretty cool how they did that. They built the whole building around the shuttle and then unwrapped it, and it all worked. Okay, here is what I'm pretty sure is a engineering mock-up of the Hubble. It's certainly very detailed. It looks like a lot more than just a museum piece. I think all the externals are real. Probably no optical stuff inside, of course. They probably use this to practice handling, loading, unloading, all that kind of stuff. Because look at it.
If we do nothing, then within about 2 years, either its gyroscopes or its batteries will die, and it'll tumble out of control. What you say?
Pretty big, huh? Pretty much takes up the whole cargo bay. Here's the manipulator arm. Let's take a closer look at that. It gets pretty close. Here's one of the jetpack suits that they used in the 80s. Untethered space flight. Pretty cool. there you can see the foot restraint system that they used when they were doing the work on the end of the shuttle arm, which is similar to what they do now on the space station when they do the EVAs for work. And here's one of the space shuttle engines, an earlier model, not the upgraded version that they made in the 90s. Oh, this is cool. They have this lit really well now. And I don't know if you can hear the cool audio effect from the engine bell, but it's cool. Here's the underbelly here. You can see the tiles they replaced over the years due to damage because they're much darker. And yet another beautiful shot of Atlantis. Looking up at it. Here is the gaseous oxygen vent. This came from pad 39B, which was used for about 1/3 of the shuttle flights. Pretty cool. All this real hardware. It's cooler when it was flying. And here's the van that you undoubtedly saw. It took the shuttle astronauts out to the pad. They used this for every mission. Needed a bigger van. Couldn't reuse the one from Apollo. Didn't have enough room. We'll show that one in a little bit. It's got that cool retro Airstream look. Only the best in astronaut transportation. Okay, here is what's called Forever Remembered. This has personal effects from the 14 lost shuttle astronauts from the 2 flights that were lost, and then actual equipment from each of the orbiters that was lost. Pretty profound and solemn. That is part of the Challenger there. And much more intimate is the actual cockpit window frames from the Columbia. Those guys were 2 feet. On the other side of the glass. Okay, here we are at the Heroes and Legends site. This has all of the Mercury and Gemini program stuff. It has a Mercury capsule, Gemini capsule, and it has, honestly, the coolest 3D movie I've ever seen. It is really great. I won't be able to show it, of course, because it's 3D. It won't show up right, but it's absolutely fantastic. So let's go in. Okay, and here is an actual flight Mercury capsule. This was Sigma 7, flown by Wally Schirra. And this is an actual flight, human-rated Mercury Redstone rocket that likely would have been used for Deke Slayton's flight, according to this. Look how small. Easily fits inside of here. Here's a cool collection of helmets from these Heroes and Legends. Look at this. Frank Borman, Michael Collins, Bob Crippen, John Glenn, 2 from Alan Shepard, Wally Schirra, Jim McDivitt, Rick Hauk. Pretty cool. Alright, here's a nice Mercury Control Center mock-up. All the equipment looks real. Obviously, this is not where it was originally, but pretty cool. Rotary phones, dials. Here's Gus Grissom's spacesuit, worn on his suborbital flight in 1961. This is the suit that started filling up with water while the helicopter was trying to save the capsule, and he almost drowned in this suit. It got really close. Eventually they went and picked him up. That's a good thing. Alright, here is a Gemini capsule. Gemini 9. The one where Gene Cernan did the spacewalk and barely made it back alive. But he did. He went on to fly Apollo 10 and Apollo 17 as commander. Last man on the moon. Look at that. The astronauts loved how this spacecraft flew the most. They said it was like a sports car. Mainly laid out by Grissom, even though it's really tight.
Suddenly realizing my visor was getting fogged up. My heart rate was running 140, 50, 60th times 170.
And then he says, Tom, my back was burning up. He had 7 layers of insulation. And it was right where it went to the zipper. He had a
All right, so this is the Orion capsule that flew on the Delta IV Heavy back in December 2014. They took the heat shield off of it for some reason, so that's why you got this little skirt down here. But anyway, this thing was, it did sort of a similar mission to the Apollo 4. couldn't quite go as high up and get as fast, but it worked fine. And you got some models here. Starliner model. Pretty much just plastic model. Okay. But here's the first Dragon cargo ship that went to the space station. And it's obvious this thing was in space, right? Charred.
Yeah, the first big adventures on 2 feet.
Nice looking. Okay. Here we are at the famous Kennedy Space Center Rocket Garden with a wide variety of rockets, all of them flight capable in their day except for one, which is the Atlas Mercury, which is a model. All the others are real. So here you've got Titan, you've got Juno 2, Juno 1, Delta, you got the Atlas with the Athena that the Gemini docked with. And then over there to the left is the model. It looks pretty real. The Atlas Mercury. And then you've got the Redstone, Mercury Redstone right there. And then over here, you've got your nice Saturn 1B, which did Apollo 7 and the Skylab missions and Apollo Soyuz. Again, this is a working one also. And over here is an F1 engine used on the Saturn V, which is not here in the Rocket Garden, but over back there in the Saturn V Center. So here they all are.